Hey people, Majusain here. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. Now you might be thinking, what's all that water in the background? I'm just standing by fountains just outside my hotel in Granada, Spain. I'm just gonna walk in. Got my Garcia cigar ready and my Coke. I hope you're all doing well. Now, I'm here in Spain. You're probably wondering what I'm doing. I've just come out for a few different reasons, but I wanted to talk today about why travel culture and seeing the world, getting out and about is important in one's life. Now, I arrived here a few days ago in Granada, Al-Andalus. It's the south of Spain in Europe, and what a place it is. Absolutely amazing. Such beautiful architecture and beautiful scenery. Now, as you might know, traveling is an adventure. Now, I've had a few hiccups. I arrived in Granada without any euros, which is a local currency. I had British pounds, and I thought that I could actually exchange money at the airport, but I didn't realise it was a bit of a small airport, and there wasn't any actual money exchange places in the airport. But anyway, luckily, someone else that I was with had euros, so we were all right, and we managed to get to the hotel. Which was a very nice place. Anyway, we then went out and arrived at the money exchange place in the city centre, and then we asked for ID, and then I'd left my ID at home. Then I had to trek back, get my ID, and then come all the way back to the money exchange. And it was a bit of a mission trying to find out where these money exchange places were, because the local banks, like for example in the UK, they have money exchange bureaus within the banks, but here they didn't seem to have that. So anyway, I found a money exchange place, and I was able to get my euros luckily. Now, if you know anything about the history of Granada, it's a very rich, diverse place with multiple cultures, and also it has a long history of the Moors. So you have a lot of Islamic architecture, art and history intertwined with contemporary Spanish history, which is quite cool. So managed to work my way over to the Alhambra Palace, which was the very reason that I actually came here to Granada. Now, I don't know about you, but I certainly remember when I was younger, we didn't have computers or these type of things that we have these days with all this technology. So we used to watch TV. Now, you might remember the classic, epic Charles Heston 60s movie, El Cid. Now, that actually was one of the motivators of coming to Al-Andalus and being able to see the history here. So I managed to trek over to the Alhambra Palace, and what I thought was that I'd buy tickets at the palace on the door, but when we got there it was all sold out, so actually I couldn't get in, which is again a part of the adventure. So turning a negative into a positive, just had a look around. There was a few places you could go in for free. For example, Carlos V's Palace, and one or two other things. So the next day, I was able to book tickets online, and then once I booked them online, I went back to the Alhambra Palace, and this time around I was able to get in, and it was definitely worth the experience, because it's such an amazing place with such poignant, beautiful architecture. I mean, you've got the palace itself, and then within the palace you've got the Nasrid palaces, which were the Moorish kings of the time. So when you go in there, you see all this art and calligraphy, Arabic design. It's pretty amazing. And then you've got a section with the gardens. You can see the evergreen trees and palm trees, and there's all sorts of amazing things there. And there's also the courts of lions, which is like a fountain which is surrounded by multiple lion statues. Now, I had waited nearly 2 decades to have the opportunity to come here, because it's intertwined with my past and part of my faith as well. So it was good to see the history and the connections here in Europe and the south of Spain. Now, I would definitely recommend for you to travel out, whether it's here in Spain or whether anywhere in the world. I mean, just to get outside of your normal parameters, the normal people that you're with, and experience something different. Now going out there, trying different foods, different cuisines, meeting different people, cultures, races, ethnicities, backgrounds, it's quite cool because you get a chance to learn so much. I mean, I'm talking about travel, but it's interlinked with business because obviously here in Spain, the travel industry and tourism industry is worth millions of euros. So it's something that's a very important part of the economy, and it's pretty much the same for many other countries too. There's also a wide range of bars, restaurants, takeaways, and there's an area called Granville, which is like the main high street. There's Moroccan markets. You can get your normal touristy type stuff, your fridge magnets and your key rings, that standard kind of stuff that you take back for your friends and family. And then you've got all sorts of other things, toys, artistic stuff, pictures, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff. So it's a really good place to check out with your family or as a couple or with friends, just to come down and relax. I mean, the weather here is absolutely beautiful. It's really hot and sunny, so it's a good break, especially if you're from a cold country. You can really enjoy it here. Now, I have also been to other cities in Spain, such as Barcelona, Madrid, Toledo, Murcia, different cities, Cordoba. I mean, Cordoba is another amazing place to check out as well, and I definitely want to go back and see cities like Valencia and Seville, which are also quite historical cities with a lot of architecture, and definitely a great place for tourists to come and visit and check out the scenery. Now, like I was saying, there are a lot of business lessons that you can learn. I mean, you just see how people travel from all over the world. They're paying airline tickets, they're booking hotels, local accommodation here. They're bringing money into the economy, and then when they're going out, they're spending their money when they're purchasing food, when they're going to historical sites and buying tickets to get into museums or get into places of significance. So definitely you can see how the economy is shaped in a diverse way. There's also, I also went on an actual tour on one of those bus type things with multiple seating, so it just goes all around Granada, and it stops off at many different places. So you can get off, you can buy a day ticket for as cheap as €8, and you can stop off at multiple places, the Alhambra Palace, the Mesquite, different places, the churches and monasteries. You can check them all out. There's at least 13 stops on that particular tourist ride, so it's really cool because you don't even have to walk all around the city. You can just hop on one of those whenever you want if you've got a day ticket, and then you can travel the whole city as many times as you want, and it's really good to get around. And of course, people are creating business ventures in travel and tourism. So in your country, maybe that's something that you could consider. Wherever you might be, have a look at how the travel and tourism industry is. You can link up with the local tourism offices, speak to local government, and you can set things up like that. You can do walking tours, bus tours, all sorts of things, and it's a good little earner really. You could create a whole new business from this, and it's very popular, particularly in cities all across the world. So it's definitely something to look into. Yeah, so overall I've had a really good experience here in Granada, in Al-Andalus in Spain, and I would recommend most certainly, if you get the chance, to come and have a visit here and check the place out for yourself and see the sights, enjoy the air, check out the weather, check out the scenery, visit the sites, and really take it in, and definitely a place to visit.